I didn't do a live yesterday. Whoops. I didn't do a live yesterday, but I'm back today and we got a interesting topic. Um, that topic is red pill content toxic? So definitely want some feedback on this. I don't want to just be giving my opinion on this. I want to get a lot of opinions on it from men, women, everyone. People who are red pill, people who are blue pill, people who are black pill, all of that. So, by the way, guys, um, you might be seeing me in a new location within a few days. Well, not a new location, actually, my old location. You'll see me back in my old location in a few days. You get to see all the rest of my collectibles that I have over there. Minus, well, minus the collectibles I still have in the Philippines. I have collectibles everywhere. Too far to stretch to get my water. Darn it. Need my water, folks. You know it. Need my water. So let me grab that. And if I'm energetic enough, I might do a dual run, second run today. Some quick one. That's what she said. No, I'm joking, but I might do a second run. Yes, I'm eating popcorn. But yeah, is red pill toxic? Is it has it gotten too toxic? Was it too toxic? Is it more diverse? Is this so-called red pill philosophy? And I don't consider it philosophy, by the way. It's red pill content, whether you want to call it red pill philosophy, red pill media, um, or refer to the certain people within that space as red pillars. Is it too toxic? Is it even useful for men? Is it? There's a lot of. Is this? Are they selling people a bunch of wolf tickets? I mean, I definitely think some people in that space are selling people wolf tickets. I guess I would consider myself sort of red pill, but I don't really need the label. So I don't know. But I would definitely like to know whether people find it toxic. I mean, there are definitely people in the space that are toxic, people like Fresh and Fit and all of that. But before getting into specific people, I want to say, even if I vehemently disagree with some of these people in these spaces, Red Pill, Manosphere, all of that, um, I would be more than willing to work with them on their platforms. Um, if they want to give me an invite to come onto their platforms, whatever, and voice so I can voice my views, um, and vice versa, be more than happy to do so. Of course, I'll be more likely that I'll be going to see them as opposed to them coming to see me because one, I don't have a studio space set up for that, and two, they're the bigger draw, so it would make more sense that I go to their platform. I'm eating popcorn, not chips, popcorn. A good old Redenbacher. I think. Wait, is it Redenbacher? Um, I think it's Redenbacher. I forgot to check. I miss the old days when you had the electric popcorn popper, and that was like such a big delight. Like in the '80s when it first came out, it felt so fancy. Like, ooh, electric popcorn popper. You know, you would stick your little big popcorn bowl underneath, stick the kernels in some with the butter or whatever, and you would hear this pop, 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 and the whole kitchen would smell like buttered popcorn. The funny thing is, I never had the Jiffy Pop. You know, the kind with in the little aluminum foil that you stick over the stove. I never had that until I was an adult. I bought it just for the sake of trying it. Like I think like 10 years ago, I tried it just to try it. So I never had Jiffy Pop as a kid, and I always wanted to try it because I've seen it on so many movies. So, but as a kid, we either did it the old-fashioned way on the stove with the grease. I mean, with like the oil in the actual pot, and you stuck the kernels in it and just heated it that way. That was the really old-fashioned way we did it. Or it was the electric popper. And by the time we hit the electric popper, we never did it the old-fashioned way again. Let me change my filter, make sure I'm getting all my messages. Yep, good. But yeah, I consider this a popcorn conversation. Like I said, is red pill content too toxic? And you see a lot of these red pillars actually being pushed off of YouTube. A lot of them have gone over to Rumble. Rumble really has no doesn't really monitor what people say over there. So I've said that Rumble is sort of like the reject toy, the island of reject toys for content creators. So if people ever saw the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon, there was the island from it was the island of misfit toys. So all the people ended up going there, including the elf that kept making bad toys and Rudolph because his glowing red nose and all that. But a lot of those broken toys were delights, and they eventually found children who loved them. So maybe that's the case with Rumble. Rumble is the island of misfit content creators because there's a place for them where people will actually enjoy that content. So Fresh and Fit got kicked over there. They got demonetized on YouTube and kicked off of places and like actually deplatformed on other spaces like TikTok and I believe Instagram. Just Pearly Things. She got demonetized. One of her channels on YouTube was deplatformed as well. So she's on Rumble as well, but she's alive and kicking on Twitter now. I noticed Fresh and Fit are back on Twitter. Like I said before, they were kicked off like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of that, and demonetized or deplatformed on YouTube. But I don't disagree with a lot of with everything they say. I just think they go way too far. But I don't disagree with a lot of the things they say. The problem for me with them was that some of the stuff they said was disingenuous to their personal lives. But hey, if Pearl Davis ever sees this, just Pearl, aka just Pearly Things, I'd be more than willing to work with her. I would apologize for any of the mean things I said last year. The thing I think more, I wasn't really so much as when I look at it now from last year, I wasn't really so mad at Pearly Things as I was mad at the Black Manosphere for pretty much naming her the queen of the Black Manosphere, which has seemed completely incoherent. Like, you have an online space for black men to voice their opinions and create digital content for other black men and like-minded folks, and you kind of anoint this white woman as the top of the as the top channel to go to in the black manosphere. It just seemed absurd. But looking at it now, I don't blame her. I blame them. And a lot of people that was rocking with her really hard, I don't mess with. I won't say who they are, but yeah. Um, then there's other people in the red pill space. Shout out to Poor Man's Podcast. He actually did a subject on this a few days ago, which is what gave me the idea to do it too, in a much less product, in a much lesser produced way. What's up, Officer Lumen? What's going on, man? I think I had a question for you the other day, and I can't remember now. If it comes back to me, I'll ask you. Guys, the officer's on the case, so act well. So yeah, so like I said, I agree with probably 95% of red pill content. My problem is some of the characters who voice these opinions in these red pill spaces, and how some of them try to market themselves through red pill content. I've already said, like, another person I like, Andrew. I like Andrew Tate, honestly, but I don't agree with everything he says. On top of that, I think he gives the right diagnoses of social problems, but I don't think his suggestions for how to get past those problems are particularly effective. If that makes sense, I think he gives the right prognosis. I mean, excuse me, as you were. I think he gives the right diagnosis, but I think he gives a bad prognosis on that diagnosis. If that, I hope that makes sense. um, who's some other people in the space? I guess you got ABBA and Preach, but I don't think ABBA and Preach consider themselves red pill content. Other thing I hate about the red pill content is this fixation on hustle culture. It's not healthy. Telling people they gotta be constantly grinding, 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 grinding. All right, but how? You're just giving like platitudes. Like, giving people a bunch of platitudes to motivate them is cool, but without actual concrete steps behind it, it comes off a bit vacuous. So, um, but then the worst thing is, you see is even kids getting into this, and it comes off really scammy. Like, these kids talking about how they grinding and stuff like that, and they don't need to go to school. Like, come on, man. First of all, if you've made success as a content creator where you're bringing in like a seven figure, maybe even eight figure income, kudos. But most of that amounts to luck. Something that's not accounted for a lot of people's success, because they don't want to be honest about it, or they just can't see it themselves, is that a lot of people's success boils down to luck. We know this now in the social research that the the biggest factor in a person's success is luck, laws of chance. And the second factor is family resources. That's why there's no such thing as a self-made billionaire. Every so-called self-made billionaire has had a bevy of family resources or people around them giving, like, assisting them to get to where they were. Like the closest I've seen to like a self-made billionaire was probably like Jay-Z. And even still, Jay-Z didn't become successful in in a social vacuum. He had a lot of people around him to get him to where he was. But at least I'll say he grew up without family resources, which is a major contributor to success. He never had the family resources that most of these people have that are always lauded as self-made billionaires, like Mark Zuckerberg. He's now the second richest person in the world, right under Elon Musk at $206 billion, billion with a B. And they called him a self-made billionaire. No, he wasn't. He came from a he came from a upper middle class family in upstate in like Long Island, New York, or whatever. He didn't start from scratch. Bill Gates didn't start from scratch. He had family that worked in like IBM and places like that that got him well connected. Steve Jobs, again, wasn't poor, didn't start from scratch. Elon Musk obviously did not start from scratch. All these people started off from like wealthy to upper middle class backgrounds. Oprah. Oprah claims she got it out the mud. No, she didn't. Her biography of being being born into poverty and facing a lot of physical and SA abuse has not been has not been verified. Also, Luna says the only way Elon Musk got famous and rich was TikTok. Well, he worked on. So I mean, his family, his father owned what, a diamond mine in South Africa. So his family already had plenty of resources. Then I'll admit he's smart though. He is smart. Like, I think Elon, Mark Zuckerberg, and Lady Gaga all were part of this John Hopkins program for gifted children. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if Elon was in it, but Mark Zuckerberg and Lady Gaga were both part of a gifted program. This sponsored by Johns Hopkins. So all these folks are smart. I'll give them that. That's the only thing they had innately, but they are not they're not self-made. None of them. He's in lots of famous people buy it. Yep. Shard says Emerald Mines. I think it was. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Shard. I think you're right. It was Emerald Mines, not Diamond Mines. Either way, they own a mine full of precious gems. We'll put it that way. Precious gems. Over 206. He's now worth $206 billion. So he's the second richest person in the world under Elon Musk, who's now the richest person in the world. Bezos is coming. Jeff Bezos, I think, is third, and that guy, I think he's French or something. Arnaud Minault or something like that. I think he's the fourth. What's up, extended clips? Well, none of these folks are self-made billionaires. Like I said, the closest we have to a so-called self-made billionaire is Jay-Z. He got it out the mud. This dude, he came from the projects. He was a high school dropout. So, drop my popcorn. 5 second rule. Also, Luna says over 200 billion. I ain't got a dollar from him. I know, right? I don't know. Maybe you go on Twitter, say the right thing, and maybe you can get hired. Shoot, I remember when he had his feud with Mark Zuckerberg last year. I was low key trying to push the beat to train him. I was like, "Yo, I'll train you," but I never sent him that tweet. I I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna play myself." He said, "Bro, that's nasty, dude. I was in the army. It did the 5 second rule is nothing. Like we ate way worse." For the records, Pool Palace is yo dog. What we messing with tonight? So again, we're talking about red pill content and whether it's toxic. But guys, you can name some other red pillars out there. Is um is Adam 22, is he considered red pill? I'm not even sure. From Fresh, what's it called? Fresh Jumper or whatever. You know the guy who does porn and starting letting black porn stars screw his wife on film now. That's some that's some cuckold stuff. And his defense of that as well, we making a lot of money from it. We getting the bag. So letting your wife get ran through by these 13-inch black male porn stars is worth the bag, huh? Extended clip says he's considered perk 30 pills. He looks like he does perk. Yeah, he does like he does Molly and perks. Cause he looks like some of these people I see in Baltimore. That's all I'll say. And I remember there was a guy the other day that was saying a bunch of stuff about red pill. And originally I was for him. Then I realized he was beyond red pill. He was like black pill. Like that's another thing. There's some people who just watch too much of that content. Like even if the content itself isn't toxic, I think it's troublesome behavior if you have someone who's just watching that stuff every day, all day long. It's like so much so that you hear them just saying stuff like that in real life. Like you shouldn't be talking in a way that sounds like you're on a YouTube channel in real life, like talking about women and like asking women are like what do they bring to the table and all this sort of stuff. That's amusing, but that's not stuff you stay in real life. Or thinking you're Kevin Samuels, where you can ask women like what's your dress size and weight or something like that. Like your dress size and height. You're not Kevin Samuels. And even Kevin Samuels doesn't do that in real life. He does that on his show, or did it on his show. Daniel says hi. What's up, Daniel? Somebody said I joined at the wrong time, left my ass off. For those who don't know what is red pill content, I mean, if you want to break it down for them, I don't, I don't have a strict um, definition for it, but I guess we can give a working description of it. Obviously, Loomis says being a YouTuber and a famous porn star is terrifying. I know, right? But since red pill content encompasses so much stuff, I'm going to just say basically it's mostly male driven content with some women in the space as well who agree with these ideas, like, just pearly things, who push a somewhat a social conservative, a social conservative narrative while also finding a lot of blame with contemporary society um, on the feminization of men, the lack of traditional values in women, um, and other social ills that they think could be remedied through going back to like maybe traditional social values and stuff like that. I think that's in the I think that's that's a good working description in its broadest sense without either giving a pejorative sense of it or a glorified sense of it. I think that's a good working description for it, and it comes from the idea of, the Matrix, where you can take the blue pill and live blissfully unaware within the Matrix, living a lie, or you can take the red pill content and be awakened to the real world with this bitter truth that things are bad. But knowing that things are bad puts you in a position where you can fight against it. So, and then W says, so it's kind of like what the that jackass Andrew Tate was all about, sort of, but um, it's more. I'm just gonna call you MNW, because I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but either way, that's yeah, that's a bit much. um, because I can't see your guys' avatars from my vertical upstream. The everything on here is too small to see that in detail. But Andrew Tate, I don't. He started. I guess you could call him red pill. I see him as more as black pill. The reason I say he's black pill is though, although he talks about similar things in a red pill space. Again, I think his solutions aren't very conducive to being helpful. Like joining his becoming a membership of his group, or some of the other things he's prescribes. I'm not sure it's particularly useful. Seems like he takes the messages coming from the real pill content and use it to promote himself in a cynical way. So that's why I think he's more black pill than red pill. So, obviously, Lemon says, but I feel like showing our private body parts on the internet is very nasty, disrespectful, and illegal. Well, it's not illegal if you got the camera on and you're getting paid for it, because then that's just called porn, right? Apparently, prostitution is legal as long as you have a camera on. That's the only difference between porn and prostitution. They're both sex workers. Only difference is one is using a camera. M&W says, yeah, M&W is for the best. Yeah, I think so. Officer Lehman says, I got nothing to hide. Sorry, I'm chomping down on popcorn. It's delicious. But I better slow down. I want to catch a kernel in my throat. No diddy. And I'm sitting here like choking while I'm on live. Like, it, that wouldn't be pretty, because I did that once. I did like a live stream where I was eating, and no, I think I was eating, but I took a sip of water or something, and it went down the wrong pipe. It went it went down my windpipe, so I started I spit up some water while I was on live. I don't think anyone saw it though, fortunately, because I haven't heard anyone remark about it. Butter lovers, it is buttered popcorn, but my favorite is actually guys. What do you call the what's the popcorn this kind of sweet? Shoot, I forgot, but I did add some sugar to this since I didn't have that, and I just shook up the bag. What do you call it? Starts with a K. Not caramel. Um, it'll come to me later. But yeah, so Andrew Tate has been like deplatformed on everything, but the thing is, he doesn't need these social media platforms to make money. The only thing he really is on right now is Twitter, but he's not on Instagram. He's definitely not on YouTube, and I don't think he's on TikTok. He just, he posts messages on Twitter every day. Even without being on any of these platforms, he's still richer than most content creators. So, plus, I respect him because he's actually a brother from DC. People didn't know he's black. He is biracial black, I guess. He's originally from DC, and he used to be a professional kickboxer. So, not Carmel Lumen. It's I was about to say Kennel, not Kennel. Is it Kennel? Kennel corn? No, it's something. Not Kennel. It's damn. It'll come to me. Carousel Circus. No. Um, Kettle. Thank you. Thank you, Fuddruckers. It's kettle corn. Thank you. So M&W, you didn't know about Red Pill's content previously. Just out of curiosity, are you a guy or a girl? Again, I can't see your avatar, so I wouldn't even know. And M&W can go either way. But yeah, kettle corn is actually my favorite. When I first had kettle corn, I hated it. I'm like, oh, why is it sweet? And then I started eating it. I'm like, yo, this is kind of good. And it reminded me of this popcorn that these guys had. Like this was like 24 years ago. I, my memory extends that far back. Shit, I can extend my memory back to 40 years if you ask me about something. But yeah, it was like 24 years ago. I was living in a frat house as a boarder. I wasn't a member, but they actually did give me an invite to uh to join them, because even though I never pledged with them. I ended up doing so many of their pledge events, but I was just hanging out with them. I didn't realize I was going to all their rush events, but I went to almost all their rush events, and they was like, "Yo, dude, you mad cool. Like, do you want to join us?" The problem was I was about to join another frat when they offered me the membership. So, ironically, I didn't choose either one, and then I ended up bringing in a new fraternity to our campus. Either anyway, when I was there, the one of the pledges had, I don't know who brought in some popcorn, but it was like it was candy. It was like cotton candy flavored popcorn. And one of the guys in the frat house, he was like, "Yo, man, that stuff smelled good as I don't know what." He said, "You know what? I'm gonna make I'm gonna make the pledges go find us some more popcorn." And I just started laughing. He's like, "Yeah, man. I'm gonna make them go find us some more of that popcorn." And now I have seen it in the grocery stores, but I haven't seen. But it took me over 20 years to find it in the grocery stores because after I heard about it, I was like, I'm curious, like how that would taste. And I've never been able to find it, and I just saw it, I believe, either a year or 2 years ago, which made me remember back to like 24 years ago. Cool G says kettle corn. Thank you, Cool G. Federica says your boy got timed out, man. What the hell? My bad. Well, I didn't time you out. I think that was my officer on the case. Um, it's all good. MW says I'm a dude, equipment operator from the north. That's good. That's what's up. That's a very masculine job, right? Equipment operator. Because that already sounds like hard work. I'm not gonna even lie. That sounds like hard work. It makes me. I don't know exactly what that is, but it makes me think of like Um, my uncle was working at a warehouse as a forklift operator, and his hours are crazy. Someone said, "Sorry, dude, you were saying off topic bad things." He was like, "Fair enough, all right." He said, "Next time it'll be 24 hours." Told you guys the officer is on the case because I can't catch everything myself. Fuddrucker says, "Hey man, I'm just trying to chat. I'm not trying to antagonize or anything. I apologize if I broke the rules. It's good. It's all good, man." He says, "Okay, just don't do it again." But yeah, so back to these red pills. Like, so I watch. So one, I, so again, I'm kind of in agreement that a lot of red pill content is toxic. That's why I reduce pretty much watching a lot of it. I was watching like MTR, uh, for people who don't know that is, that's media tutorials and reviews. But again, he was one of those people who worked with pearly things, so I was like not impressed anymore. O'Shea Duke Jackson, he gives a lot of good content when it comes to like celebrity gossip, but I don't really like his pro blackety black opinions on a lot of stuff that he talks about. Fresh and Fit, I think, are scammers, but again, I'll take that back if they want me to come onto their show one day and give my reasons of what I think about some of the stuff they say. But um, I find it hard to take them seriously when you constantly bring on stupid women to your show. So it's like they're easy pickings. On top of that, these women, a lot of these sex workers and OnlyFans girls they bring on the show, like a lot of those girls come onto the show knowing they're going to get dogged out because they're still going to have a lot of guys coming after them after they do the show trying to get at them. On top of that, both Myron and the other dude who Fresh and Fit who do the show, like the same women they dog out are the same women they date. So it's like, not to mention a lot of stuff that Myron says is like a lot of anti-black stuff. I'm not pro-black, but I'm not anti-black either. A lot of stuff he says is anti-black, and it's like, dude, you talking a lot of stuff when the majority of your audience are black dudes. On top of that, like you couldn't talk this shit in your own country. Like we couldn't go to your country and talk stuff like that because he's originally from the Sudan. And it's like you're from a shithole country. You can't even go back if you want to. You couldn't be a success in some shithole Sudan in the shithole Sudan, war torn country. Like he's again, I'm saying all this stuff, but I'd be more than willing to go on that show. Fuddrucker says, I think the problem with red pill content is it really boils down to trashing on women and minorities, which is why I avoid that stuff. M&W says, I've seen clips of those alpha podcasts. They're beyond cringeworthy. Yeah. So Fresh and Fit are back, are still on YouTube. But what it is, they just make their content over on Rumble and then they bring it over to YouTube. So they're not producing on YouTube anymore. They're producing on Rumble and then they bring their show from Rumble onto YouTube because they've been demonetized here. And like I said, Rumble is a social media platform for all the misfits. They Rumble is the island of misfit content creators. Fuddrucker says exactly these dudes target easy pickings, quote unquote, and use it to generalize to the entire female population, which in my opinion is wrong. Well, again, even though I disagree with how they go about what they do, I do agree with a lot of stuff they say. Like for instance, I just find it I find it patently irrational in 2024 that anyone will get married to a woman in America. It's not worth the risk outweigh the benefits. As guys, like another thing a lot of people talk about in red pill space is that guys tend to be of more good in accounting for costs and benefits. In doing so, uh, marriage in contemporary America, the costs have outweighed the benefits. You have all to lose and nothing to gain. Family court system is firmly against men. I mean, look at it. Here in Maryland, I don't know how many other states do this, but I know it's not just Maryland. But in Maryland, if if you find out if you prove false paternity on your wife, that she actually went outside of your marriage to have another child, you're still financially responsible for that child, even if you guys break up, because according to the state of Maryland, that child was made within the confines of your marriage, regardless of whom your wife slept with. So you're still responsible for that child. So you have to raise another person's bastard for the rest of your life. No, it's not worth it. Not at all. So you almost become sympathetic to some of these incels who just give up, or these MGTOW guys. MGTOW stands for men going their own way. You kind of feel sympathetic for them because society does not abode well for men of average or even low value, of low, well, I should say of low or even average value. An average man should be able to get an average woman, but average women think they deserve a high value man. Again, this is stuff they say in Red Pill content, which is pretty accurate. These women have their head screwed on backwards. You can meet a Lizzo looking chick who has like 200, slept with like over 200 something men, probably used to have herpes, and she thinks she deserves, and she'll tell you she's a 10, that she is the table, and she deserves a man who's making no less than 200,000 a year or something like that. So the red pill content people aren't wrong. They say this stuff. It's just how they go about it sometimes, and sometimes they embellish and exaggerate. Officer Luna says my son said I should watch a show called Fooster. What the hell is that? I never heard of it. Fooster? I don't know what that is. M&W says I'm so happy I live in the middle of nowhere. Love how nothing I hear about is my problem. Fuddrucker says, dog, as a married man, it really is crazy. We decide to get the government involved in our relationships. See, I'm married. You guys know I'm married, but I'm married overseas. My wife is Filipina, and she's from the Philippines. We married in the Philippines, so the only thing you need to worry about in the Philippines, though, is that make sure you pick the right one because there's no divorce in the Philippines. If you bring her here to America, you can get divorced, but over there, no divorce. So make sure you pick a right one. Farrucker says, "Oh, absolutely, doing DNA tests should be standard at birth. It's crazy how one-sided it is. 18 years cause your wife stepped out on you, didn't catch it soon enough. Stupid as f." I agree. I don't know why they hit this Fuddrucker, but I'm gonna show this. But it gets worse than that on Fuddrucker. So it's it's not even 18 years anymore. It can be longer than that because if the kid goes to college, you're still responsible for them while they're in college. So you can be responsible for the kid up until like 21, paying for you pay you're responsible for a bastard child that your wife had cheating on you for 21 years of your life. And you wonder why mer- uh like you think why mercenaries still exist in 20 in the 21st century. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand. Blame Dirty says, "What is red pill content?" Uh, I don't want to give that working description again, dude. Can someone else give us a definition? Gino says MAGA is toxic. Not the topic, but if you want to say MAGA is topic, cool. Did you feel the same way about the Boston the what's it called? The Tea Party. I think the Tea Party was sort of like the precursor to MAGA. If people don't know what Tea Party is, then probably you should Google that. I think the Tea Party back in the 2000s and early 2010s was like the precursor to MAGA. Again, some things I agree with them on, and some things that I don't. Fuddrucker says, "I'm pretty sure that a kid not being yours is fairly common, so no, so don't quote me on this though. Not sure the exact numbers. So no, they do have numbers on this. So in America, false paternity is about I, I forgot the exact numbers. I think it's around like 30-40%, something like that in America. Um, in Jamaica, it's like 70% or 75%. It was that bad, so that the Jamaican government originally was going to start instituting mandatory paternity tests, and then they realized they shouldn't do that because it might pro- promote a lot of domestic violence in Jamaica, since since 2/3 of marriages have like paternity fraud involved. That means a lot of these guys might take justice into their own hands, so they decided not to do that. In France, getting a paternity test, unless it's through the government, is actually illegal because of high paternity fraud there. And again, the thinking there in France is by the government is we don't want to break up families. I think the family's already broken up when the bitch stepped out on the guy and had a child by another man. But that just means, hey, I would never marry or date a French woman nor a Jamaican woman. Blame Dirty says you don't have to reply. I won't comment on description or words. Again, Blame Dirty. So the working description pretty much is male driven content online that talks about issues with uh, dating, um, men falling behind in society, how uh, feminism is incoherent, that uh, how men are being effeminized and stuff like that, and the fact that that these aren't nice things to talk about, so it's considered like the bitter truth, like the red pill in the Matrix, as opposed to the blue pill in the Matrix, where you go back into the Matrix and live blissfully unaware that all of this is all of this is a lie. You instead, if you take the red pill, you realize that the Matrix, all of this is a lie, and you realize how bad things really are, but at least it gives you the chance to fight against it. That's the basic that's the basic ideology, more or less. For the record says, "Oh my god, anything more than 1% is nuts. You kidding me? I'm not. It's at least if anyone want to look it up, because I can't do it while obviously I'm doing a stream, but in America, I think it's up to like 30 something percent paternity fraud. But again, that's not as high as it is in other countries. France is high, Jamaica's extremely high, like 70%, which means 2/3 of all Jamaican relationships involve a guy being cuckolded. 2/3. That's crazy. Officer Loomis says tiptoe dance on a DNA test and pray you're the father or not. Pretty much. And if you're, imagine, I don't know what race all of you guys are, but imagine you're white and your wife is white, but your child comes out brown skin. I, I don't, man. I don't think at that point you shouldn't even need a paternity test. You should just leave the bitch. Fireworker said, "Isn't France trying to ban paternity tests altogether? Kind of nuts." Well, like I said, in France, it's illegal to get a paternity test unless it's through the courts, unless it's through the court system. You cannot. I think specifically you can't get over the counter paternity test, but even still, you can't go to the doctors and get a paternity test. It has to come through the court system because again, because there's so much false paternity going on in France, they they didn't they don't want people to take it in their own hands and do the at-home paternity test, because you can do that without the person's willingness. Like you can get a urine sample or whatever and test it or whatever, but and you can also from the baby grab a sample as well, but they've made that illegal there. And like I said, the reasoning behind them saying that is that they don't want to break up families. And I'm thinking, well, the family's already broken. It's just that the guy doesn't know. So he has to take care of some bastard child for the rest of his life because France would rather have stable relationships than real relationships. That's crazy to me. Flamebear says, "Thanks, I understand. I always looked at its frequency or energy, sort of like yin yang, nor meant to be taken literally." Lumen says, "If my child is black, I'm going 25 to life." I know that's right. Do you remember that old Jim Carrey movie when that happened? His two sons, the two big black dudes. That I forgot what that movie is called when he plays like a cop, and I think he's a cop, right? I think he has like a split personality. I forgot that movie's so long ago. I can't remember, but he had the two black sons, and his wife was not black. Blackout Bravo says, "Yo, just tuned it, boss man." Um, Fighter says, "Laughing my ass off, dude. My wife is Arabic, so who knows what our kid will look like? Kind of scary." Well, I don't know what you are, Fighter, but again, I think DNA test should be mandatory because at the end of the day, it actually protects both parties. And I've made this point on a Facebook post. I mean, not on a Facebook post, in a Facebook group. When this scenario was given about this couple, I think, man, yeah, husband and wife, and the woman is pregnant, and the guy is asking her why is she pregnant. He doesn't believe it's his, but she never goes into a lot of details of whether he had got his tubes clipped, and that's why he think it's not his, or he think he's sterile. I don't know, but he doesn't believe it's his. And then the twist is that she actually suspects that he was, hooking up with her best friend. I was like, that's regard. I was like, That's irrelevant. Just take a DNA test and prove it's his. If you have nothing to hide, then just go ahead and do it. If you want to go ahead and divorce him afterwards, that's fine. But at least let him know that's his kid or not. And then if you know you haven't been messing around, then it's a way to put that in his face. And I was like, that's why tests should be mandatory anyway. And all these women started attacking me for saying that, saying I'm defending this guy and this and that. And I was like, actually, this defends both parties. If she knows she hasn't messed around, then she can use that against him and say, hey, this asshole tried to claim I stepped out of our marriage and had an affair, and this is his effing child. But by the way, just because the kid is his doesn't mean she hasn't cheated. That just means the kid is his. So that's another thing. That's another wrinkle to the loop is that just because the child is yours doesn't mean the wife never cheated. That just means she didn't get pregnant by cheating. But that's a different subject. Um, Officer Lumen says Arabic. We be praying for you, brother. Oh, in his defense, Lumen, Arabic women are really good wives. They make really good wives. My only reason I and they're very beautiful. The only reason I don't think I would want a Middle Eastern or Arabic wife is just because I'm not Muslim. And at some point, if you're dating a traditional Muslim woman, one of you are going to have to convert. Either she's going to either she's going to convert to your beliefs or you're going to convert to hers. But you can't. I've never seen a mixed religion marriage work when it comes to one of them being like a Muslim. I haven't seen that work unless they are non-traditional Muslim, and almost all Arabic and Middle Eastern people are traditional Muslim. So for the record says, as far as I'm aware, the state doesn't care who the father is rather than who will support it. So they really don't care where it came from as long as the state doesn't have to support it. Oh no, the state will give you a paternity test in a hot second. One of the problems, and I've seen this here in Maryland, particularly in Baltimore, is that what's happening is that sometimes these places that do the paternity test are willfully choosing the wrong person as being the father just to make sure that this is getting to conspiracy theory territory here. So everything I say here should be taken with a grain of salt. But some of the reasoning is that there's a lot of false paternity going on in these DNA test places because they all stick the person who has who's the most likely to be able to take care of the child financially as being the as being a biological father, even though he may not actually be the biological father. There's some cases of that going on here in Baltimore, but I can't say exactly how prevalent that is. My own cousin think that was the case with him and one of his children that he doesn't claim. Um, he had to financially, he had to pay child support, but he's never been in that child's life because he doesn't believe it's his. He think that woman lied, and that she got the paternity test, she thinks the people in the paternity, um, he thinks the people who did the paternity testing chose him over the other guy who was also given a test because he was the more successful of the two of them. That has happened. I don't know how prevalent it is, but that's also a scary issue as well. I would say this: don't even fuck with ratchets. Don't sleep with ratchets. You don't have to sleep with them. Don't sleep with ratchets. If you need to get your nut off, there's plenty of Asian massage parlors and and whatever's the stand-in for back pages now in the day. Like, just get your $40, get your nut, or just use condoms. Um, Blame Dirty says I'm white. Wife is um, from I don't know what you said from something, and kids look nothing like me. But Mary says DNA proves I'm the father, and the test says you are the father. You gotta start breakdancing it. For the record, it says Inshallah. I'm telling you, if you could deal with the their traditional beliefs, Arabic women would make really great wives, and they're very pretty. And like Filipina and other Southeast Asian women, they they wash themselves every time they pee, so they have the cleanest genitals of most women. Women from Southeast Asia and women from the Middle East have the cleanest nether regions because again, they wash them every time they use the bathroom. Whereas women here just rub some dry ass paper across their shitty ass after they do their business, which is probably why a lot of them stink down there. Bladen says my spelling is horrible tonight. Apologies, no problem. Austin Luna says yes, sir. Fudd says yeah. Boy converted to Islam and it's been fine. Phenomenal wife though. Could not ask for a better life partner. Oh well, yeah. If you converted, then you're good. Like I said, if if you date a Middle Eastern woman and you're willing to convert, you you're good. You're Gucci if you're willing to do that. I wasn't. Ironically, I grew up as a Muslim child and we converted to Christianity when I was little when my mother married my stepfather. But even when we were Muslim, I still always got Christmas, so I couldn't complain. I still got Christmas, even when I was Muslim. Muslim says I ain't married, but I still have a jackass stepson. He said I thought I could hit and run, but then she gave me her child and asked for me to take care of him. Fred Rucker says gorgeous ladies, man, it's crazy. Oh, I know. I've dated some in college. I dated this girl. She was Pakistani and Arabic. Name was Mona. That name fit her. That's all I'm gonna say. Officer Lemon says they better watch that stuff if I'm eating it. Most of these black women don't. Well, I would say most American women don't. I only first knew about this when I befriended this Persian girl back in college, and she told me she takes a water bottle with her everywhere she goes so she can use it when she goes to the bathroom. I was like, oh, for real? She's like, yeah. She was like, oh, she's like, she said we Middle Eastern girls. She's like, we wash ourselves after we pee, so we're always fresh. She said, but if I'm not at home, I just take a water bottle with me. And she told she was laughing because she told me that she had the water bottle on her one day, and one of her guy friends was saying grabbed a water bottle and wanted to drink some water, and she told him what she used that for. He started coughing the water out like, what? I mean, but if you looked at her, you probably like, all right. We almost dated. Matter of fact, like she wrote my name down in Farsi, which is the Persian language, because my name is Aman. And I asked her how similar is Arabic and Farsi. She was like, basically they're the same thing. And she wrote my name in Farsi, and it looked just like Arabic. And because I was going to get it tattooed on me, and I never did, because this was like a few days right before the September 11th attacks in 2001. And so because of that, we didn't do it. But she was so flattered that I asked her to, spell my name out to get it tattooed. Um, I don't have any women in the chat, so I can't. I don't know if they're gonna disagree with anything I just said or agree. Usually we have some women in the chat, but not in this one, which is kind of ironic, being that the whole discussion is whether red pill content is toxic, and is all guys talking about this. It's funny. Blame Dirty says, I'm not changing myself for anyone ever. It works for a little while, and now I'm going on marriage, 31 years. That's what's up. I was just saying, dating a Muslim woman from either the Middle East or Africa can be challenging, because in a long term relationship or marriage with one of them, it's going to be expected that somebody has to convert if you're not already Muslim. Like, if you're both Muslim, you're fine. But if she's Muslim and you're not, either the pressure is going to be on you to convert to her religion, or for you to, or for her to convert to yours. But I don't think I don't think mixed religion marriages, when one of the people is a Muslim, works. When it comes to mixed religions with other religions, it's kind of fine. Like, a lot of people are used to mixed religions when it comes to Christianity. Like, you can be Catholic and Protestant, or Protestant and atheist, or Catholic and atheist. I dated Catholics; they had no problem with me being atheist. Um, but I just don't think it will work well as an atheist dating a Muslim. I'm pretty sure this one girl, this Ethiopian Muslim girl, stopped dating me just for that very fact. Tactical Vibes says, bro, what we talking about, Lumen? Red pill content, bro. Fuddrucker says, I was actually surprised how accepting my in laws are. Some random white dude married their gorgeous daughter, and they're like, welcome, whitey, eat our amazing food. I'm blessed. Also, Lumen said, Blame Dirty says, changing for someone else is a mistake. That's my deep belief. I think so. What was um what was Tactical Vibes calling sus? Obviously, Luna says I had some experience with that. Fuddruckers was saying to Blame Dirty, I didn't change much, man. Just recontextualize my belief in Allah. All the Abrahamic religions are incredibly similar. Jesus is a prophet. Yeah, the Abrahamic religions are all pretty much similar up until a point where the where they disagree is when you get to Jesus. Um, but like I was telling someone in a previous live stream a few days ago that Muslims aren't anti-Christian. Like, I was telling him, like, they believe Jesus is a prophet. So if you so for Muslims, if you were to denigrate Jesus, that would be against their religion as well, because to them Jesus is a prophet as well. It's just that for them Muhammad is the final prophet. For them Muhammad is the final prophet, but Jesus is considered very sacred to them as well. They don't take him to be the son of God, though. They take him to be a prophet of God. So the Abrahamic religions are very similar, and a lot of the same prophets from the Old Testament are also worship. I mean, not worship, are also revered in Islam as well. They kind of they changed their names to Arabic names, but they're the same people, like Musa's, Moses, and so on and so on. But yeah, the Abrahamic religions are very pretty similar. That's sort of what is so tragic about the wars between them, all the crusades, all the stuff going on down in the Middle East, when there's more similarities than differences, when you look at it. um, Officer Luna says, and time out. Hundo says, I just started fishing. Do you fish? I haven't fished since I was last time I fished was when I was 13, and I didn't enjoy it at that time, so that's why it stopped when I was 13 because I got bored with it. Officer Lemon says in PT we fished. Yeah, I used to do it a lot as a kid, but by the time I became 13, it became boring to me. So that was the last time I fished. Now, if I probably would fish now. And if I go back to the Philippines, it seemed like that would be fun. Also, Lemon says one time we catch the baby shark. Did it come out going baby shark? Do 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 do? No. um, Farag says, yeah, man, in Islam, Jesus isn't just a prophet. He's still the Messiah and is still going to come back at the end of times. But you're right. He isn't just the son of, he just isn't the son of God, but he's basically number two. I didn't think they saw him as the Messiah, though. But more like a prophet, like Elijah and Isaiah, stuff like that. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into a religious discussion. I'm going to put the focus back on talking about red pill content. Do you guys watch red pill content, and who? As I was starting to say like about a half an hour ago, and I completely lost track of what I was saying. I was saying that I cut down on almost all my red pill content except for Poor Man Podcast, or PMP for short. He's the only one that I still watch. And I sometimes disagree with him on stuff too, especially when it comes to college. I completely disagree with red pill people telling other men not to go to college. I vehemently disagree with that. What makes it worse is the main people telling people not to go to college went to college themselves. So you're gonna deny a benefit to others that you received yourself because you don't think it's worth it anymore, or because you think that higher education has moved so far to the left. Well, if higher education has moved to the left, then you need more people who are more conservative to go into college to keep it balanced. You don't just you don't just disappear from academia. That doesn't make sense. Farraga says, haha, sorry, man, you're right, my bad. I was about to say, yeah, I definitely don't consider him the Messiah. Obviously, I honestly don't know what red pill content is. That's because you don't watch that content. But it's literally like hundreds, if not thousands, of red pill content creators out there. Like I said, Fresh and Fit, Just Pearly Things, uh, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Well, actually, I don't think he's red pill. He's just more like pro black types. Well, some of the pro black folks are also red pill. Um, Andrew Tate, which I kind of think he's more black pill than red pill. What did this guy say? Um, and there's so many other people. Um, Media Man, uh, T. Hassan Johnson. Um, I guess Fresh Jumper. I don't know if he's considered red pill because I think he's been kind of abandoned by the red pill content ever since he's let his wife get fucked by black male porn stars. A lot of people just consider him. He still has a lot of a very successful podcast, but I think a lot of people have dissociated themselves from him as far as him being red pill. Um, who else is famous? Like Abba and Preach, but I don't. They don't consider themselves red pill, so I don't know if Abba and Preach um, count. Um, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of stuff out there. I don't know if it falls into red pill or not. I don't know if Charlie Kirk falls into red pill or Tim Pool. Fuddrucker says, I don't know, man. For me, red pill stuff just boils down to being crappy toward women. No, I don't. I think that's a. I think that's a hyper generalization. I mean, there's some truth to that, but which again, this is why I don't watch a lot of red pill content because I think a lot of people who watch too much red pill content it's not healthy, and most of the people who watch nothing but red pill content tend to have nothing going on in their lives. A person who's really getting it is not going to be focused on red pill content. Farraga says women don't suck, people suck. Yes, but they're a fair target because women can say stuff about men that we can't get away with. They can say all men suck. That like they can get away with saying stuff that men cannot say about women if they want to keep their careers intact. Like women can literally go online and be cheered for saying misandrous stuff like um, you should abort all male children or all men are potential rapists. Even if they didn't do anything, they're still all potentially ones. Like this is crazy. And red pillars when they're talking about women, they're mostly talking about just American or Western women. So women of America, Western Europe, and Australia. These are the majority of women. They're not talking about women from East Asia or Africa or the Middle East or Eastern Europe or the islands, the Pacific Islands, or indigenous women. They're talking specifically about Western women. Why is this guy picking with you, Lumen? This alt guy. What's going on with him? It's weird. If you want to ban him, you can just ban him. Because I don't know why he's starting to beef with you for no reason. It's just weird. But yeah, but again, too much of that content is not healthy for you. If you always just listening to stuff just to hear, like if you only listen to red pill content just to hear them bash women, you probably need to make better moves with your life, with your lives. Um, if you want to use red pill ideology as an excuse for why you're not successful, you have a problem. So I dropped a kernel. Well, I got through this whole popcorn without choking, guys. No diddy. Start choking. All of a sudden, you start hearing some bad boy music in the background. Like, oh shit. No diddy. Maybe stop. Uh, and speaking of Diddy, now I'm not gonna even go into that because I don't want to start a whole. If I say something, it's gonna start a whole different conversation. I don't want to do that. Never mind. That might be a topic for another day. Fuddruckers. By the way, Fuddruckers is a freaking delicious place. I go there some like the last two times I went there. I got a, um, a buffalo burger instead of a regular beef burger. I got buffalo burgers, delicious. Buffalo pretty much tastes like beef anyway. It's like beef but healthier. I don't know how to describe it. Like you know, how, like people always say this tastes just like that, and it really doesn't. Like people try to say everything tastes like chicken, and they really don't. But if I tell you buffalo tastes like beef, it really does. It's like beef, but it's better. And I don't know really how to describe it. But anyway, he says, I sincerely appreciate you accepting the valid criticism of red pill stuff. This is why I follow you. You don't dig your heels into and on some BS. You accept to critique and respond with rationalism. Yeah, because things are nuanced for the record. Like, here's the thing. It's like this is the rub why I might piss some people off. Is because I agree with most of the red pill content, but I also agree that a lot of the content being made is not the best. Like there's only it's sort of like hip hop, right? It's sort of like rap music. By and large, most of the people making rap music sucks. But there's some really good rap. It's like there's some good rap out there. Like this is definitely like the case in the late '80s, early '90s. Like if you went to a music store when they were still music stores, and you go into the hip hop section, most of these artists I have never heard of, and I would never buy their music. But it's like the very few artists that stand out right in the front that I will buy, and that's all I get. All that other stuff I leave behind. I'm not even thinking about it. It's sort of the same situation with red pill content. There's like thousands of red pill content creators between YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok, but it's only a very few whom I'll actually watch. And like I said, the only one I'm actually like subscribed to at this moment is like Poor Man's Podcast, and I think that's it. I don't know if T. Hassan Johnson is red pill. I think he's black, sort of like the Black Manosphere, which is sort of like a subset of red pill content. Um, because by the way, when I'm saying red pill, I'm also including the Manosphere, but I would say T. Hassan Johnson is more of the Black Manosphere, which is a subset of the Manosphere red pill space. And he's like an actual professor, like he's an actual professor, and I think it's either African American studies or something like that. And so he addresses like specific issues dealing, for black men and stuff like that. And I guess he could be considered red pill. So because I'm subscribed to him, but he's not really red pill in the sense that I mean it today. Uh, Arson Lima said he's just being annoying. He said Diddy doesn't compare to Drake. Tactical Vibe says I'm gonna shut my mouth this time. Guys, you don't have to shut your mouth. Just be tactful in how you tactful. Like just be tactful in how you express your opinions. That's all. People can disagree with me and they can disagree with each other on in the chat room, but just do it in a way that's not combative. If you get what I'm saying. Like I said, a good look at red pill content gone wrong is Fresh and Fit. Like I said, they bring on OnlyFans girls and sex workers onto their channel just to dog them out. But these girls know what they're getting into because they know even though they're going to get dogged out during the program, they can use the platform to find new subscribers to their channels, to their OnlyFans content, or guys who will reach out to them and pay them money for pleasures. So it becomes like it, it becomes a mutually beneficial proposition for them to get dogged out on the show so the guys can prove their point about Western women, while at the same time they profit from it because they know a lot of the people who watch their show are going to end up behind closed doors subscribing to these women on their OnlyFans, or you know privately messaging them and paying for services. Not to mention the same women that Fresh and Fit dog on their platform, they tend to also date. We already seen the dude, the little monkey looking one from Barbados. Um, he impregnated some little IG model, a Chinese girl at that, and then she released the messages and all that. He tried to make her get it for her to delete the child. So out of embarrassment, he and he and his little butt buddy Myron decided to dog the girl out on their show and try to show how she's like trash. But that doesn't help him because if she's trash, then why were you dating her? So the tactical says Lumen has got it, bro. Surprised I ain't muted for 5 years. He said, guess what? Uh-oh. He'll say, don't you dare. Yo, Lumen. Oh shit, Lumen. Yo, Lumen is funny. But yeah, like I said, that's what I was saying. So like I said, they're like the worst of red pill content because they're like fucking hypocrites. Then like I said, you got Adam from from Fresh Jumper, whatever the name of his channel is, who talks all this red pill content, and he's getting cuckolded by his wife just because they're making money off of her getting slutted out. Like it was bad enough he was doing porn with his wife. It was like at least you doing porn with your wife. I get it. And then they would invite other women and have threesomes. And back then he said he would never let his woman do content with another guy. And then he just decided he was going to because they got offered a lot of money to do so. And I'm like, so you're willing to you're willing to do all this depravity because you'll get a bag for it. Like that goes against that goes against red pill ideology. Time is it 10:54? Yeah, it's getting late. Um, Frederick says slippery slope, baby. Money kills us. No, he's just willing. He he just seems willing to do it. Also, I think he's not. If you look at him when he talks about it, he doesn't seem genuinely happy about it. Seemed like he kind of. It seemed like his wife wanted to do it, and he just went along with it, and that he kind of rationalizes it to himself that he wanted her to do it because now they've gotten much richer. But mind you, before they did it, they were already millionaires from the content that they were making. So it made them slightly more richer now that she's done it at the cost of desecrating like their marriage. Like, was it really worth it to go from like no? Is it really worth it to go from $10 million to $20 million by letting your woman sleep with other men? I don't think so. I could see if the difference was between having $50,000 and $10 million. Again, I'm not trying to put. I know that sounds crude because it sounds like I'm also putting a price tag on it, which I am. But I'm saying if you already putting a price tag on the integrity of your marriage and relationship, then going from 10 to 20 million is not a big difference. But going from like $50,000 to $10 million, that would be a big difference. Or going from $10 million to $1 billion, that would be a big difference. But just merely going from like 10 to $20 million, how was that really worth it? I just don't see how that was worth living with the knowledge that your woman just got railed by a 13-inch dick.
raw, and he cream pied her in that scene because they put it for free. It was for free on either Pornhub on X2 or Red was not RedTube, um, X videos. Sorry, either X videos or Pornhub showed it for free. He cream pied the girl, and I'm like, yo, you let the dude cream pie her? Like, I was like, was it really worth that, yo? Like, going from 10 to 20 million. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was about that. Like they were like worth like 8 to 12 million, something like that, and it pretty much doubled how much it was after that. But that's not a big difference because you're already a millionaire. Federer says nothing worth that to me, man. Yeah, for me, from my wife, she's my wife, so there's no price. There's no price. You are not touching it, touching her. There's no price. But I mean, that's fine. It's good they make that money because when their marriage eventually sours, she's getting half of it anyway. But yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, yeah, and then like I said, the other problem with the red pill content is the whole hustle culture sort of thing. Like you need to be on your hustle. You need to be working 3, 4 jobs. You should be going to bed late from working, but getting up early. Like when are you actually sleeping? Um, you also need to be constantly staying fit, but you're also working. Like I don't know. So you're working. So you're working 12-hour day. Like so you're working like 15-hour days, 6 days a week. Not to mention your side hustle, but you also should be working out and on top of male fashion, but also I don't know. The hustle culture is crazy. And then they're telling people they should be chasing a bag, but at the same time telling them they shouldn't go to college. When the most likely way you're gonna get the bag is through higher education. And they're just saying, well, you can just get a trade. You can just get a trade. Most of these trades cost most the financial expenditure of going to trade school is as expensive as going to college. But to say you should get a trade instead of going to college because college has become too left leaning, that doesn't make sense. If it's become left leaning, then you need more right leaning people in academia to balance it out. Otherwise, the information that comes out of higher education is going to be skewed. We see that now with like a magazine that used to be a really great place for scientific information for like lay people, which was Scientific American magazine. They have moved so far to the left with with feminist propaganda that it's ridiculous. Like saying stuff like there's no biological sex differences between there's no sex differences between men and women that allow for men to outperform them in athletics. That um, they they say all sorts of weird stuff now. I couldn't believe this because this was not the Scientific America magazine I used to read 20 years ago when I first started reading them. Like the editorial is just ridiculous now. Um, but yeah, this is what happens when you encourage people who are more conservative or lean right to abandon academia. First of all, that's not good because through academia, you're going to, on average, earn more. Two, through academia, you gain a certain soft power, which is the social prestige, which you don't get through um, the traditional blue collar jobs. They don't have the same level of prestige, even though many of those jobs are much more important than the type of jobs you might get through academia, because those blue collar jobs keep society running. But for them to say men should just not go to college and stuff, that shit is crazy. Fuddrucker says, laughing my ass off at OF content as part of our prenup. You still owe me alimony. American divorce court, right? And like I said, the red pillars are right when they say that marriage doesn't offer much benefit to men in America anymore. My thing is, don't don't take that and run with it and go MGTOW or incel. Instead, you should take that as, okay, I'm gonna find my wife from a more traditional culture. Instead of just abandoning marriage outright or abandoning long-term relationships, I would say no. You should still do long-term relationships. You should still seek marriage, because marriage has a lot of social economic benefits for men. But just pick women from traditional cultures. Don't pick these American women, because women are just as hot in these traditional cultures as they are in America. If anything, most of these women overseas look better than American women. So Scrody McBooger says you're black as hell. Yeah, just the way your mother liked it. Hot and black. M&W said I've returned. He said roasted. I don't know why they start with me. But in any case, yeah, so like I said, I agree with most red pill content, but like I said, I don't think it's healthy to watch it every day. He said I sent them to Ohio. Uh-oh, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. If you guys haven't heard that song, you gotta listen to that. That's one of the funniest songs I've ever listened to. And I was mad they actually did like a concert and people were singing it, and people had like the lighters in the air, like they're eating the dogs. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're eating their cats. Meow, 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 meow. They're eating the pets of the people that live. Yo, that had to have been the fun. I wish I could have went to the concert, because that had to have been the funniest concert ever. Since a weird, probably the only thing that could be equally as funny is probably like a Weird Al Yankovic. And if you're not Gen X, you probably don't even know who Weird Al Yankovic is. MW says anything but Ohio. Fuddrucker says totally agree. If you want to get married, go for a culture that respects marriage. Still, right? Like I said, it's still, it's still very, it's still beneficial for men to get married. And like I said, it's only women to say they don't need men. Like I said, they get to say all sorts of just misandrous type stuff in public, online, and it doesn't affect them. But if men said the same stuff that women say about them, it would cost them their careers, unless they're in a conservative space, like, the Daily Wire or the Blaze TV. But men, especially in academia, it would be hard to express opinions that don't line up with the left in academia. And I was like, so the when you look at that, that doesn't mean we should abandon academia. It doesn't mean that men should abandon getting higher education. It means we need to be going into higher education to make sure that all our views are represented there, to make sure that when it comes to social and behavioral sciences, that it's not being skewed by these these left-leaning ideologies, because we already know that happens in social research, in what's called the standard social model. The standard social science model is a very like liberal type of research program that has been infused in the social sciences. um, and it does affect, you know, what type of research is done, and it affects how those research findings are interpreted. Luna says Weird Al Yankovic is the goat. I know, right? Definitely. Fuddrucker says, don't tell anyone about Ohio case that houses are cheap and cost of living is low. I mean, Ohio sucks. Go to Michigan. It depends on what part of Ohio. Yes, Ohio is cheap, but what I have seen is Ohio. Some parts of Ohio are violent as shit, and I didn't realize that. I'm thinking Ohio is like chill. There's some really violent parts of Ohio, like Cleveland, and I like. I'm thinking these are like nice chill places, like Middle America type places, like Indiana. Like Indiana, I think is more chill than Ohio, but you still have Gary, Indiana, where Michael Jackson and his family came from, which is actually one of the worst cities in the country, Gary, Indiana. But yeah, Ohio is cheaper, especially than most places in the Northeast. Maryland has become completely unaffordable. And in Maryland, if you are not like, that the average income in America is like 50,000. Um, and you can live comfortably in Maryland making only 50,000 if you're single with no children. But as soon as you want to have a family, forget about it. It's Maryland has become completely unaffordable, and DC is worse. DC is like living in like Midtown Manhattan. Um, M&W says if it's all right to ask what do you do for work. I do lead generation and direct marketing, and on the side, I sometimes teach martial arts. Um, but yeah, yeah, I've talked about it in the past. I was briefly working for directly for this lender over the summer, and I might go back to working for that lender, but it wasn't what I was expecting out of it because I was expecting it to be something that would carry me as far as working as a digital nomad, and now I find that I was being sold some wolf tickets. I actually talk about it in a separate video because one of the people from that from that lender who I was working directly under, who's actually a personal friend of mine, I felt I, I saw the way he was going about the whole situation we were in was kind of exploitative. Like so much so that he wanted me to start putting advertisements for the lender here on my channel, but he wasn't willing to pay me for it. So Moise says, well, MNW says not so merry anymore, right? Five Rocket says, look, man, he said there's a reason most of the astronauts and presidents come from here. Everyone is trying to get the hell out. I don't know where that's from. Nebraska? I don't know. Five Rocket says, how's that accent though? Aaron earned an iron. How's that? Aaron earned an iron earn. Yeah, I don't have a Baltimore accent, so I can actually pronounce the I can actually enunciate the the differences in those. If you're talking about the Baltimore accent, and I hear it also in the DC area, they be like earned, and iron, earn, and arn, earn. They would say, okay, they say earned, and and earn. So yeah, that's how they would sound. But I grew up in Chicago when I was a kid, so I can actually enunciate my words. I don't have a Baltimore accent. I do have a bit of a Northeast accent because I also lived in places like Philly and Delaware. So um, I definitely I know I sound like I'm from the Northeast to a lot of folks, but I don't sound like I'm from Baltimore. Like I don't think anyone would say, "Oh, you're from Baltimore" from the way I talk. Besides, I don't say "tu" or "blue." I say "two," "blue." I don't say "blue," "tu." I'm gonna get him "tu." I don't say the patterns. Look, I see the patterns on the wall. Like I don't talk that way. And they don't even say Maryland. They say Merlin. It's Merlin, like the wizard Merlin. That's what they. So yeah, I hate that garbled accent. Like I couldn't even. One of the reasons I couldn't even date girls from here because if they talk like that, that would just be a turn off. Unless she was Asian, then it might be cute. If I if I heard an Asian girl with that accent, it would probably be cute on her just because I like Asians. But other than that, if it was like a if it was like a black chick or a white chick or maybe even a Latina chick and she talked that way, it would be a turn off. I don't like the Baltimore accent. It sounds horrible. Um, Fun Record says, "LOL. I'm originally from Massachusetts. Some of the stuff I say gets me the side eye from these Midwesterners. When you say stuff like the car or boulevard, because you know how you guys say that. But yeah, I don't know. Some people envy the Massachusetts accent because it has so much more Britishisms and New England dialects that for some people it sounds more lofty, which is why some people go to boarding school. So much so that people will send their kids to certain boarding schools just so they can be raised with a certain accent. Like there's the Virginia Piedmont dialect is sort of like like a upper class Southern accent that some people will send their kids to that school to get that sort of accent, whereas some might send their kids to particular boarding schools in New England so they can get that esteemed New England accent. It sound like they're from the sound like they're from the Boston elite, right? Lima says "Out of Touch" by Daryl Hall and John Oates is the best song of all time. Fight me. Yeah, out of oh, don't get me started because there's this content creator that he made a video to that song. What's the guy named T.O. Choco or Call Me Choco? This black guy, he's funny as hell. He he played Hall and Oates and he did the song. It's funny as hell. If you haven't seen it, like look the guy up. He's on Instagram and Facebook. I think he's also on YouTube as well, but I know he's definitely on Instagram and YouTube. He's called and he has I think he has two channels. One is called Tio Choco, which is that's that's like his Spanish persona. Like he's like a black Spanish guy persona Tio Choco. Then his other personas Call Me Choco. Then his I think uh his main page is Call Me Choco. But he does a Hall and Oates thing that is funny as hell. Frederick says the car. Get in the car. We going up the boulevard. BSK says, "What's up? What's going on, BSK?" Frederick says, "Yo, you want the donkey's kid? Come get in the friggin' car." So he says, "Damn boy, happy for you opening up." I don't know what that means, bro. You said that last time. What are you talking about? I'm opening up. I'm always like making jokes on here. I don't know why. I don't know. why people think I'm uptight. I make jokes usually like every like almost every live stream. I'm sitting here cracking jokes. I mean, I can be serious and I can crack jokes. It's not like either or. But even when we talking about serious topics, I'll still make jokes. But anyway, so like getting back to the red pill content, guys. So like I said, if unfortunately some of you weren't even hip to a lot of the red pill content, Officer Lumen isn't. Some of you guys weren't. Like I said, the best way to get a message is just actually check out some of this content once this live is over. Like go check out Fresh and Fit. Go check out Just Pearly Things. Go check out at Fresh Jumper. Um, who's some other? There's so many, and there's so many people in this red pill space that I can't even think of a bunch of them. I'm just giving you a few that come right off the top of my head. Um, Poor Man's Podcast. He, like I said, he's the only one I currently watch and subscribe to. Like I used to watch a bunch of red pill content, and the only reason I think I did was because I first got into red pill content by watching Kevin Samuels, and then he went on to so many other podcasts and YouTube channels. And, when he did that, he would tell people, hey, check these folks out too. But when I watched them, I realized they didn't have the savvy that Kevin Samuels had. So I really didn't like them the same way I like Kevin Samuels. So when he passed away, I just kind of started dwindling down how much red pill content I watched up until, I still watch Poor Man's Podcast. It was another guy I used to watch. I can't remember his name. He started traveling now, but he was like this, bald headed black dude. And the reason I didn't like him was that he would have like these little, he would like, you know, this dude would be like, I won't say having meltdowns, but he would damn near crash out like every other video about something. I'm like, I was like, he's a little bit too passionate. Flight record says, does that door behind you open out, or is it perfectly cut for that trim above it? It's driving me crazy. What door? That's a window. Um, the only door is the bedroom door. Um, or you talking about the closet? It's like it's only the sliding closet door with the mirror. And then there's the bedroom door. Then there's two windows. Um, but yeah, that's it. You said cut for that trim. I'm guessing so. I'm guessing you're talking about the window. Must be the closet. Sorry. Oh, okay. But yeah, um, I'm trying to think of other red pill content you guys can watch. It becomes an open question whether some things are red pill content, which ones aren't. But now people are trying to blame everything on red pill like all these left leaning people are trying to blame red pill content for the resurgence of Trump, or they want to blame red pill content for men no longer accepting taking women on dates. It's like no, because it's through red pill content they realized they were getting played. Women are demanding to be to be taken to fine dining restaurants on the first date. When the first date is how you get to know someone, why should I be taking you to like a fancy steakhouse on the first date when I don't even know you? Don't even know, like, I'm attracted to you, but I don't even know if I want to be with you. Like fine dining should come after you guys have are into the second, more likely, or better yet, third date. You've already established that you're both attracted to each other and you actually would like to keep it going. then that's when you do the fine dining, but you won't know that until you actually get to know the person, which is the whole point of the first date. That's like the first date is just it's like you just dipping your toes in the water and see if it's something you want to do. Um, Frederick says, "Alrighty, man. Thank you for the conversation. I got to get to bed. Night, man. Good night. I need to do so myself. Matter of fact, because I want to get up early and run, rip and run. Before work, since I start work is not bad. I start work at 11, so I can say if I ideally get up at 4:30, I can have everything done and eat breakfast and watch a little anime before I even start work. Talk to the wifey, everything. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna stay on long myself. This I might have to return to this subject another day when I have more people who are familiar with red pill content to really talk about it. Because I was hoping it would be people in the audience that would bring up their favorite red pill content influencers, so we could kind of discuss it more. Fred Rucker says, "Enjoy that new 1,000 Year Blood War, baby." The what? Thousand thousand year blood war, baby. I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. It's late for me, so I don't. I'm sorry. I'm a little out of it. Um, but like I said, generally, red pill content is telling men to go back to like traditional values, reject women who want to be modern but still expect men to be traditional because that doesn't make sense. They complain about how academia is too left leaning. They complain how the legal system is kind of set to destroy men's lives if they end up in relationships and having children with Western women. Uh, Stuff like that. So whereas I agree with most of the stuff they say, I disagree. Find a lot of the people in those spaces disagreeable. Officer Loomis says I got to go. I have a police chase in progress. Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Uh, do your thing. So guys, I'm about to go myself. Federic said Bleach anime just started. I thought I watched all of it, then I realized there's like multiple other seasons that came after. Like, but whatever. I don't think I'm gonna get back into Bleach. It just gets more and more far fetched the more you watch it. So I'm good with Bleach. Wherever I left off, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't see myself continuing that. Officer Lumen says bye, dude. Good night. Be safe, Officer Lumen. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go myself. If you guys have any other comments about red pill content, don't be afraid to leave it in the content. I mean, excuse me, in the comment section after this is after you watch this. Also, if you want to show your support, you can buy a membership. It starts at $2.99. Um, if you want to send me a Cash App, the link is in the description, or Venmo. So I use either one, Cash App or Venmo, or you can send me a super thanks. Um, but I'm gonna go. Also, I'm gonna try to redo that live stream that me and my wife were attempting to do 2 days ago. For whatever reason, YouTube was acting up. So when I tried to bring her on the channel, it wouldn't show her, and she wanted to show her new GoPro Hero device out. So I'm gonna see if we can try that again this week, and hopefully it'll work. Other than that, if you got any other questions, again, leave it in the comment section, or you can reach out to me in my socials either by email, Facebook, or Instagram. All three of them will be linked in the description. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you. And like I said, if you got more stuff to talk about red pill content, leave it in the comments because I really didn't get into the meat and bones like I wanted to do. All right. But check you guys later.